Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today I have a special guest with me here today. His name is Robin. He's a seasoned real estate investor with over 21 years of experience in fix and flips, wholesaling, rental property management, you name it, Robin has the experience. So without further ado, my friend, welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you on. I know you and I just spent, a few minutes just getting to know each other before we started recording. So for those that don't know you, why don't you just introduce to the audience who you are, Robin, and just share maybe your experience and just your background and how you got here.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. Yeah, it's great to be on with you. Wow, it's a long story. I won't take the full time that I could describing my history there, but once upon a time I was a software engineer actually for decades, and back around 2003, I started looking at the 401k and going, I'm not so sure that's going to work out for me. I think I want to actually have some financial independence here one day. And so I started looking for other ways other than just, the 401k, because that didn't really make sense to me to, even if I saved up a big bunch of money, now I'm racing my money to the end of my life, hopefully I die before I run out of money kind of thing. That just seems silly. So anyway, I heard about Robert Kiyosaki and some other gurus, started looking into it, and just thought, I need to start buying some houses, and started networking with other people who were doing it and learning, taking classes, etc. A big step for me is when I actually, I think I had about 30 grand in the bank back then. And I spent 20 grand on my initial education, which was a huge step of faith, but I needed to do it, and that right there is probably the biggest thing that propelled us, me and my wife, to success, is taking that big risk to begin with. Because then when you take a big step of faith, you don't just stop on a dime. There's some follow through that goes with that, right? And so when I hit the ground after that big leap of faith, we just kept on running, So we've got now 30 rental properties. We've got 46 doors. We've done countless fix and flips, wholesale deals. We teach classes on wholesale real estate investing. We run DFW Real Estate Investor Club, which is just a local REIA networking and education. Yeah, so much to say, so little time, right? Yes.
Right. That's awesome. So why don't you walk us through, how did you land your first deal?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Right. So I had just been to my first class with the guru that I signed up with back then. It was a wholesaling class, and he gave us a sample postcard, so talked about postcards. And so I was like, okay, I did my best to go out and find, people that might want to sell their house quickly at a discount, and sent out, I don't know, a couple hundred postcards, and got a call one day. And the guy was like, "Hey man, if you don't want it, don't worry about it." And before I even got to say anything, and so I'm on the phone with them, I'm like, "No, no, 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 I'm interested. Tell me, tell me more about the property and
Yeah.
why you're selling it and all that kind of stuff." And so we ended up buying a house actually for cash, which I don't necessarily recommend, but when all the cash is like $5,000, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I got that much cash." So I paid 5,000 for a property. And yeah, it was a good deal that I did too, because before I even got the for sale by owner sign, even one hammer on the sign in the yard, some guys from across the street came across and said, you know, long story short, they said, we'll offer you 7,500, right now. So I was like, okay, I think I did a good deal here, So anyhow, yeah, I did not accept their $7,500 offer, even though I would have made money. We marketed it. We're going to real estate investor networking clubs back then, and also, acquiring our list of buyers and such. And so we ended up selling, I think, for 17.5 or something like that. Made 11.5 profit on it, because we had done some rehabbing. We never intended to be wholesalers. We got into the business to be fix and flip rehabbers, right? Because
Mhm.
that's where the big money was, or at least I thought, But so yeah, that's the short version of how we found, and a little bit about, the interaction with the guy. It's funny, signing the contract on that, I'll never forget. I was over in at a barbecue restaurant, and I had read the Trek 1 to 4 family residential resale contract, but man, I did not. I was no contract expert, and I'll never forget sitting down there with the guy. And I was about to go over and explain to him the contract that I did not understand very well myself at all. And so, as I turned the contract around to show it to him, and I started to explain, he goes, "Thank God," he said. "Oh, dude, don't even bother with all that. Just show me where to sign." And so, not on the outside, but on the inside, I went, "Phew, I'm sure glad that I'm sure glad I didn't have to explain that to him." This is a truly motivated seller here, this guy, right? He had inherited the
Yeah.
property from his mom or something like that. But yeah, there's so much more to say on that. I mean, we learned a lot of lessons on the first deal or two, but after a couple deals, not that one, but the next one was even more profitable. Uh, we uh, we were up about 41,000, 41.5, something like that on our first couple deals. I was like, yeah, I think I'm liking this. I think I'll keep doing this, So anyway,
Yeah, that's the story right there. There,
yeah.
there definitely was God in that
Oh
situation
yeah,
to
no
sort that
question.
out.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
question about
no
it.
question. That's awesome. So, why don't you list out, Robin? I mean, I'm curious to know, what are some of your top strategies for, finding your distressed properties before others do? I mean, were you doing direct mail? Were you doing cold calling? What were you doing?
Yeah, when we started, we were doing postcards, and we were doing roadside signs, ads in the paper, yellow pages. And just to be honest, after 21 and a half years, I mean, it gets a little foggy on all the stuff that we did back then, but I know
Mhm.
for sure that we did that. And we got
Yeah.
that first one from a person calling me back off of a postcard. The second deal we did actually was from I was needing to get more direct access to the MLS so I could pull comps and that sort of stuff. So I actually was poking around on the internet, and I found that my own credit union was a member of the MLS. And so I was like, okay, maybe I can call them up and schmooze with them, and they'll, let me piggyback on their access or something. And so I did. I called them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Carriger, we appreciate your business, but no, we're not really going to do that, And well, what if well, no, 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 not, oh no. So I was like, okay, well, so I was just about to hang up, and I remember it was one of those things where people remember where they were at when some major event happened, where the Kennedy assassination, when they found out about that, or 9/11, or whatever, the major event. I know where I was, exactly what I was doing. Well, I could take you to the spot on the earth where I was when I was about to hang up, and I said, "But wait, before you hang up, do you guys ever do any foreclosures?" And I'm talking to the lady who's the head of the real estate department of my credit union, and she said, "You know what? I've been here 18 years, and we have never foreclosed on anybody until just the other day." Right. And so she ends up putting me in touch with the guy in the collections area. He was new to the company, etc. We ended up buying that property for 35,000. Well, the Tarrant Appraisal District website had it listed at 91.7. Okay. And blah blah blah. We started to rehab it again because again we weren't wholesalers, we were rehabbers, or so we thought, right? We did have the intuition or the insight to put out a couple of different we buy houses, or not we buy houses, for sale by owner houses in the yard when we started rehabbing it. And at the end of the day, I think we ended up putting about $800 of our own money into it or something like that. And before a wholesaler drove by, and again, skipping over a lot of details there, we sold it for 68,000, I think, something like that. But with some expenses, holding costs, etc., I think we netted like 29 grand on that one, right? So 11.5, 29 grand. I'm like, yes, we're rocking this, So yeah. And again, so much more detail, that I'm skipping over. I can make a whole podcast out of just one of these deals, right?
No,
I threw
yeah,
all the good stuff in there, But
absolutely.
anyway,
Especially after 21 years of experience, right? You've been through it. You've seen it
yeah,
all, right? And that's what it's about. And I think that's right now, Robin. I mean, it's incredible to me to even see you, being here for 21 years. You've experienced, all the highs, all the lows. I want to talk to you about maybe some of the low moments in your career. Could you maybe just talk about maybe some times to where, you were going through a struggle in your business, maybe, the operations, maybe you were struggling with building systems around managing, multiple flips at one time, getting into, maybe in your rental properties and the challenges when it comes to managing your rentals. Why don't you just walk us through maybe just some, some examples of, how you kind of got through that? Because I think it's imperative that you have to build a strong mindset in this business or really any business, right? You have to put yourself in a place to where you're going to go through the fire, a lot of times throughout your career, and you do have to be built almost for battle when these times come, because it's all about how you respond to situations that's ultimately going to set you up for long-term success. So, we'd love if you could share that.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'm sitting here as you're saying that, just kind of going through my mental, Rolodex of, okay, there was that one, there was that one, there was that one, there was that one.
Uh-huh.
Uh, which one should I share with you here? Well, of all the properties that we've ever done, any deal, any kind, there's only one that we actually lost money on, and it was like, $1,500 after you did all the math, right? So
Mhm.
it wasn't a huge loss of any sort, but what so, so it was a rehab, and I actually got laid off of my software engineering job after I had been in the business for, I don't know, 3, 4 years, something like that. And at the time I was like, okay, that's okay. I'm a real estate investor now, so I'm just going to do this full time. Now
Yeah.
later, people that I had known and worked with in the software engineering business called me back, and I went actually back into being a software engineer for another 17 years or something, or 15 years, something. Anyway, but at that time, I was not working, as a software engineer when I got this deal. So I was like, okay, I need every deal I can find here. So I was I sliced it a little thin, right? I thought we were going to make maybe 115, the price should have been about 115, something like that. And we picked it up for 85. Anyway, by the time you did the math on the rehab, a good outcome here would have been that we would have made, 10 grand. Okay. Um, but um, lots of things went wrong. It was during the summer of 2007. And I know you don't remember that, and most people won't. But it rained like, Noah would have been proud, of this summer. It just kept raining and raining and raining. Well, we had a pool in the backyard that we needed to break up. Everybody we called was like, "Yeah, that's 5 grand." I was like, "Yeah, 5 grand is gonna really hurt our budget here." So I was like, "Okay, let me." My wife is looking for somebody. She kept hearing 5 grand. I said, "Let me take over this search for somebody that can break that pool up." Right. So I found somebody to do it for 2,500 bucks. I was like, "Yes, I'm so awesome that I found this guy." Okay. Anyway, so long story short, it finally let up raining for like a couple days, okay? And I was pressuring this guy, get back there with your backhoe and break that sucker up so we can move on with the program here. Okay, because time is money, right? When you're rehabbing a house, you're paying debt service, taxes, insurance, you're bleeding money until you get it sold. Okay. So I'm like, okay, we got to get on with the program. Well, anyway, I pressed him too much, and it didn't rain for a couple of days yet, but the ground was still wet, still soft. He goes back there, he breaks up the pool. Um, and long story short, skipping over a bunch of stuff, unbeknownst to me or him or anybody at the time, he ran that over the sewer line.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And the house was built in like 1957 or something like that. Most sewer lines come out the front of the house, okay? But
Right.
this one, for whatever reason back then in this neighborhood, it went out the back. None of us actually realized it. Anyway, he cracked it. I didn't know till later. So we buried the pool, sod, the whole thing. Man, the sod, that was a major bunch of work. But anyways, so we finally got it sold, and we the budget was killed, but I think we were making maybe 3,500 bucks by that time, and we're just glad to get it off of our plates. About 30 days after we sold it, I get a call from the guy we sold it to, and he says, I'm having some plumbing problems here. And I'm like, well, okay, but I bought you a home warranty as part of the deal, and you had full opportunity to have it inspected and everything. So I don't think so. I'm done with you, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry that's happening to you, but I don't see how it's my responsibility. We called an attorney. The attorney wrote me a letter, and he this was in retrospect, it was just a fishing expedition, but it sobered me up enough that I was like, okay, I need to do something here, because he pointed out that I had marked on the seller's disclosure that there were no subsurface pits. And I still, to this day, don't think there was any subsurface pits. But I was like, do I want to go to court and hire an attorney and mess around? Well, I ended up hiring an attorney anyways, who was completely worthless. And I don't, obviously, I'm not going to say this person's name, but they're worthless. But they charge me every time I scratch my nose. I mean, it was just, anyway. So $4,500 down the toilet with my attorney alone. And I ended up having to fix the sewer line on top of it, to get the whole thing released and, and with all of that, I mean, that's the short version of that. There's so much more that I learned about insurance and legal stuff and, don't do the work yourself. Anyway, but yeah, we lost about 1,500 bucks. But I mean, in retrospect, all that we learned, the tuition for that course was a little bit expensive, but man, did we learn a lot.
Yeah.
And 1,500 bucks compared to, 18 grand, 23 grand, 45 grand, 55 grand, and other fix and flips that we did along the line. Who cares, right? That I lost 1,500 bucks on one deal, right? So.
It's peanuts,
Yeah,
right?
and that's a lesson for any new people, like you were
Mhm.
kind of saying on the intro to this part, you can't let little piddly stuff, slow you down, right? You are going to have failures,
Mhm.
and when you do, learn from them. Don't repeat those, but keep on moving. So,
And to add to that, Robin, I really want to get, your input on maybe what are some of the key mindset shifts that, separate successful investors from those who are maybe struggling, right? How can people improve when it comes to that?
well, like I said, learning.
Mhm.
Honestly, our intention was never really to do fix and flips. I mean, everything we've done besides rental properties really has been just to make money so that we could feed it into the rental business,
Mhm.
honestly, because it's the rental business that for us that has built our wealth, right? Uh, so the mindset shift for me when I got into real estate was stop trading my time for money, which is a big thing that Robert Kiyosaki preaches all the time, right? Instead of that, buy assets that will pay you, build up your passive income uh, until that passive income is large enough that it is bigger than your living expenses, and then you're quote unquote financially independent. So that's what that's what we always wanted. That's what we have now. I do get a question sometimes from newer people, you know, and then they'll put it this way: all you experienced people, if you had it to do all over again, what would you do differently? And that's kind of maybe that's kind of what you're asking. And I always answer what I would try to do better from the beginning. And I know Investor Fuel stresses this is I would try to automate my business better from the beginning and focus more on that in the beginning. Of course, when you're new, if you don't hear that from anybody, what you're just trying to figure out if you can do this at all, and look for deals and you make money. Hey, cool, I made money, and so you're not maybe thinking, you're not putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, so but yeah, that's the one thing. And because that passive income, you think it's just going to be automatic. Well, it's not, you know. So even if you
Right.
hire a property manager and it's a good property manager, it's still it takes you a while to get to that, more passive, and it takes a lot of work, and that's a whole seminar in and of itself, right? Depending on
Definitely.
what you're doing, so
100%. I couldn't agree anymore. And that's something I'm seeing, right now in the industry right now, because a big thing is just, let's talk about, the typical wholesaler. They get stuck on the deal to deal, and it's a very active business model for wholesaling, right? The
yeah,
tax burden's heavy, innovations are heavy, things like that. And I think it's imperative that, you are making an action and a game plan to where you are looking at, the passive side of the business, right? Because you have to look for the next 30, 40 years. And also, what do you want to live your children behind? What do you want to leave your family behind as well,
yeah,
right? And it's, you can get a lot of your time back if you're willing to make that sacrifice. But this is where it's important to learn from people, such as yourself that have the experience and actually have the assets at hand, because you've been through it, right?
right,
It's a lot of people I feel like are sometimes struggle because they feel like they're on an island. They just want to try to figure it out themselves. And the best thing you can do is just be part of a community or, reach out to somebody. You never know who is willing to lend you a helping hand in the industry, right? To
Yeah.
help you, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It really comes down to networking, building relationships, and just put yourself out there. It's
That's
only
right.
going to help you for the long
Yeah.
haul, especially when you're just starting out, right?
Yeah.
That's the best thing. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So I'm interested, Robin, for those that don't know, you are the owner of DFW, the REI Club in Dallas. Why don't you share, what that organization looks like and, how are you helping
Sure.
people through that club?
We have weekly meetings. There's a lot of clubs that meet monthly. We have weekly meetings on Saturday mornings. And it's networking and education. Like you're saying, it's about building relationships, with basically everybody that you're going to need to be successful in just about doing whatever you want to do in real estate as a real estate investor in any form that might take. Multifamily wholesaling. We teach a class on wholesaling. And I mean, we have classes. We have national gurus come through and talk about. We just had some folk come in and talk about residential assisted living, investing, but I mean multifamily. You could talk about short-term rentals. I believe we're going to have somebody come in and talk about short-term rentals again a little later in the year. But most of the time, it's just talking about the core stuff about how to find your next deal, how when you market your business and sellers call, how to have that conversation about learning various different exit strategies, foreclosures, seller financing, um, subject to deals, short sales, just you name it, right? What do you want to do? And so mobile home, I mean, I could just go on and on. Just as a club owner, I feel like it's my role to present as many different possibilities for people to be successful, from an educational perspective as well as from a networking perspective,
Mhm.
right? Again, we were talking before the meeting, life is about, for me, for a long time now, life is about helping people. You know, it, there better be, there better be words on my tombstone to the effect of he helped people. Yeah. So
Yeah,
if not, I was a failure. Yeah. So,
that's right.
but
That's
that's
right. I mean,
that's the kind
that's
of spirit that we try to foster too. It's not just me. I feel
mhm.
like most people that come to a few meetings will see that that's what we're about. So,
Right. That family oriented type of circle.
right,
That's
right,
what it's about, right? It's what are you going to leave behind? And I think that, you have to ask yourself that question. It's
yeah,
like your duty on earth is to give, right? And it's not to focus on what am I going to receive out of this from
right,
giving. It's just about doing your best and helping your neighbor, right? It talks about that, on the religious aspect in the Bible, right?
yeah,
Help thy neighbor.
absolutely.
And that is the mentality I feel like if you follow you will be rich in
Well, the
any
thing is,
aspect of
you
life.
get you get that, and
Mhm,
because I'm not talking about just my fellow investors or
mhm,
people that want to learn. I'm talking about motivated sellers. I'm talking about the people we sell to. I'm talking about the people,
yeah,
our tenants. I'm talking about the people that do the repairs and updates on the properties we buy. It's all the way around. It's everybody that you interact with, right? If you're bringing
absolutely.
value, you're helping other people. My goodness gracious, I get calls sometimes from people out of the blue that I don't even know off the internet, and I might talk to them for an hour, just because, honestly, just because I can't help myself. Now,
Mhm,
obviously, if I have an appointment, I can't do that, but it's rare that I don't tell people at least, hey, I'll get back with you or try me another time or something, just because, again, some people would go, I've seen people whose name you might even recognize, post something on Facebook and somebody will say, they get frustrated with somebody who contacts them and says, hey, you got a minute? And they go, no, I don't got a minute. Well, let me tell you, Robin's always got a minute. I,
yeah,
the day that I don't have a minute is the day that I've made some kind of mistake. I mean, again, appointments is one thing,
mhm,
but the spirit of it is I want to help you. You know, And yeah,
That's
we
right.
sell mentorships, and we've got, memberships and mentorships and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we do get paid. Okay, yes, but that's not why I do it. DFW REI Club and all that stuff. That's not why. That's not why we do this. We do this because we really genuinely want to help people. So, you know,
I love that.
I don't
I
want to get
love
too
that.
I don't want to get too mushy or I'll get emotional.
No, I mean it shows the passion and the care you actually pour into your people and your tribe,
Yeah,
and that's a testament also to why you've been successful, and currently also why you and I were talking. The family you built and
yeah,
your grandkids. I mean, those are all your pillars of life that are so important, right?
yeah,
And there's no question on why you are where you are
yeah.
because you keep that mentality first. So, Robin, man, I wish we honestly had another hour because I got a bunch of more stuff and a bunch of more ammo that I could ask you of questions.
Right.
So I'd love to have you back on
Yeah.
here in the near future because there's a
Yeah.
lot more stuff I want to dive into. But it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend, having you on. Before we jet, could you just share to the audience, where do people need to reach out to you to join, the DFW REI Club or anything else you have to offer as well?
So even though I have this phone number on my shirt, don't call that number. The be the better number to call me is just my mobile number. It's 817-300-1132. Or just go to dfwreiclub.com if you want to see what we've got on the calendar and all that kind of stuff. Uh, yeah, I mean, just one more point on the helping people side too. You'll get people who call you back. You'll get motivated sellers sometimes who will call you back and you'll do a deal because you were straight up with them and you treated them fairly and honestly and they could sense that you wanted to help them. I've done countless deals like that I thought were gone. I thought they were gone completely, but people call me back, so anyway,
People over profits, right?
that's
That's
right.
the mentality to keep. I
Absolutely
love
right.
that. I
Yeah.
love that, Robin. Well, guys, Robin, we're going to definitely put, your phone number and where people can find you in the description on YouTube so they know exactly where to go. But again, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to join us today and just sharing the value that you brought. I definitely learned a lot. Your in career and your life is incredible, and I'm just excited to see what you do next, my friend.
Likewise, I'm so honored to have been able to be on. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed today's show. I know I did. And as always, my friends, we will see you on the next episode. Take care.
all right.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.